Alright, we got King Wavy in this bitch. I can finally say that now because I found my own theme song. It's actually called King Wavy. It's by a young and up-and-coming rapper named Kyle. You guys should check him out. And everybody knows G-Eazy. He's also on there too. And you know, I got you guys at the end. I'll play it at the end of the video. First, by a show of hands though, can you guys, you know, just raise your hands if you are actually tired of watching me play Call of Duty? Yeah, I really can't see you raise your hands, but I'm pretty sure you're tired of watching me play Call of Duty, because I'm tired of watching me play Call of Duty. And I know some of you thinking, well, doesn't his broke ass have any other games to play? And I actually do. I have a ton of games actually, but I don't know. It's just, I feel like this is the best I've ever been in Call of Duty, and this is like the third Call of Duty I owned. I know I'm kind of late, but it's the third Call of Duty I owned, and I'm Prestige 7, and I know there's people out there who's like Prestiged 200 already, and I know it doesn't mean shit to them, but it means shit to me because, you know, I just never got this deep into Call of Duty. But, you know, I'm gonna try and play some other stuff soon. I actually don't want to do gameplay anymore. Like, I have other plans for the channel, but, you know, all in due time. But anyways, we're like a minute and a half into the video, and I haven't even started talking about the actual topic of the video. And today, we're talking about social media. Alright, so you guys know how some people are always like, technology or social media is ruining us, it's ruining this generation, it's ruining America. And you know, I used to just brush those people off. I used to just be like, you know what, you're older, you're an older person, you don't know what you're talking about, you know, you just don't understand the movement, the social media movement. And now that I'm getting older, you know, I'm thinking about it more and more, and you know what, maybe they're onto something, you know, maybe they aren't just crazy old people. Because, you know, I'm starting to realize that, you know, social media is, you know, some of it can be fake, and, you know, it's just corrupt. Like, you know, people don't socialize anymore. And don't get me wrong, I'm not picking sides, okay? On one hand, I love social media. I wouldn't even say I love social media, because I only have Instagram. That's like the only thing I have. So I love Instagram. It's funny, you know, it's a nice little piece of entertainment. But on the other hand, I also noticed that, you know, people just don't socialize anymore. Person face-to-face conversation can be awkward, you know, with younger people nowadays. And, you know, like, I was just talking to a friend the other day, and she was like, she's arguing on the phone with her boyfriend. They're text arguing. And instead of him replying with actual words, he starts sending her memes or memes, or I don't even honestly don't know how to say that word. I honestly think it's memes, so I'm gonna say memes, you know, fuck it. So he's sending memes to express himself instead of actually texting words. And me and her, we just found that pretty funny. Like, you know, it's just, you know, that's just a perfect example of how, you know, people, you know, they're not communicating nowadays. And I think that was one of my, you know, problems when I was in high school. From like 9th grade to 11th grade, I was just socially awkward. There's no way around it, you know, I'm just gonna go out there and say it. Like, I wasn't scared to talk to people, but when I did talk to people, you know, it was just weird. I could say some pretty stupid stuff. And don't get me started on the whole girl thing, you know, that was just a train wreck. Well, and I didn't get good at talking to people until I was like a senior in high school. Can you believe that? I'm like 18 years old. Like, 18 years old was the year where I just got confidence. Like, my ego even kind of got big. And, you know, I just kind of, like, senior year was the only year I kind of got popular. It was the only year, like, you know, I started talking more to people, and I had a bunch of friends, and people started to like me. And even the faculty, not just students, but even the faculty in high school kind of knew me, kind of for some bad reasons, you know. Like I said, my ego kind of got up there. That's a bunch of stories in itself I can tell on here. But the point is that I'm trying to make is that, you know, I think social media ruined me my younger years in high school, and I didn't break out into my real self until I was a senior. And I think that's a pretty long time for the, you know, the average human, I guess. So the main point I want to get across here is that I want you to ask yourself this question that I asked myself a couple nights ago: is, do I evolve with the movement of technology or social media, or do I kind of just fall back, you know, kind of be a little bit old-fashioned and be myself? And because I like to interact with people face to face, and I think it's healthy. And I think it's a good question to ask yourself. You might not have the answer now. You know, you might have, it's gonna take some thinking. I know you're not gonna have the answer now because that's a damn good question. You know, it took me a couple days to, you know, finally, you know, come across my answer. And my personally, as an individual, I think my answer is I'm gonna be balanced. You know, I think it's a good idea to be balanced. I think you want to be hip. I think you want to be trendy. You know, you want to, you know, go with the flow, but at the same time, you want to, you know, be humble, keep yourself, you know, recognize what's real, what's fake, and, you know, just try to keep it all together and be yourself throughout all this, you know, media and stuff. You know, just stay true to yourself. And yeah, I think that's all I want to talk about, you know, rant about. And I know this was kind of a more serious commentary. You know, I usually don't do those on here, but you know, I think it's nice to, you know, every once in a while to, you know, be intelligent. Yeah, kudos to that. So anyways, guys, I'm out of here. Peace. I'll see you sooner than you think.
Hello, I'm back, it's Gerald. Hello. Come through in all black apparel. Come through in that black Camaro. Cause you know I'm getting that dinero. Just cop the loft with the crazy view. Flex on them like, look what you made me do. Try stun on me, I stun on you. I ash my fucking blunt on you. Bay Area, bro, I rep for the coast. Kelly's on fire, I ain't even try boast. Hoes on the side like it's jelly on toast. If she gets too close, then I hit her with the dose. Peace, ho, got me pissed off. Edward